There were many victims of the Profumo affair, the sex and spying scandal that dominated the headlines in 1963, contributed to the resignation of the then Prime Minister, Harold Macmillan, soon afterwards, and still looms disproportionately large in the history of modern Britain. High on any list of those who suffered, and arguably at the very top, was Christine Keeler, who has died aged 75. She was the showgirl. She preferred to call herself a model, while others labeled her a prostitute, whose simultaneous sexual liaisons in July 1961 with the British Secretary for War, John Profumo, and the Soviet attaché Yevgeny Ivanov, lay at the heart of the scandal. A photograph taken at the time, of a young, alluring, but vulnerable Keeler, posing naked on a back-to-front Jacobson chair, has become one of the enduring symbols of the era. A former model who was introduced to society figures by the osteopath Stephen Ward. In June 1961, when Keeler was 19, Ward introduced Keeler to John Profumo at a party at the Buckinghamshire stately home, Cliveden. In 1963, Ward was tried for living off immoral earnings after claims that he introduced women including Mandy Rice Davies and Keeler to rich clients. The case ended with Ward's suicide. The British model made a headline-grabbing appearance at Ward's trial, claiming that her lovers included Viscount Bill Astor, the owner of Cliveden. Told that her alleged former lover denied her allegations, she answered, "Well, he would, wouldn't he?" Rice Davies died of cancer aged 70 in 2014. The Soviet naval attaché had an affair with Keeler at the same time as Profumo. The romantic triangle led to Profumo, then Secretary of State for War, resigning. The affair nearly destroyed Harold Macmillan's government. Profumo spent the rest of his life volunteering at Toyber Hall, a charity in East London. He died in 2006, aged 91. Written by Holly Watt. She spent much of the rest of her life after 1963 bemoaning, in countless interviews and several volumes of autobiography, each more lurid than the last, her inability to escape the shadow of the affair. "It's been a misery for me, living with Christine Keeler," she said when her definitive account was published in 2001. The volume was revised in 2012, with the claim, "Now Profumo is dead, I can finally reveal the truth." Yet she never appeared to really want to put it behind her. She would approach journalists and publishers repeatedly, offering to sell them another new angle on the story. The 2001 book, for example, contained new allegations that she had been pregnant with Profumo's child but had been pushed into having an abortion. These were dismissed by those close to the disgraced minister who, in contrast to Keeler, sought rehabilitation by public silence and good works in the East End of London before his death in 2006. He was, of course, a wealthy man who could afford such a stance. Keeler was habitually short of cash and could not manage the luxury of just lying low. She made a second major claim in the 2001 book. Stephen Ward, the osteopath who introduced her and other girls from the wrong side of the tracks to aristocrats and leading figures in the late 1950s and early 60s, had been, she revealed, a Soviet agent who had tried to murder her.